don't have players in action at this particular time, just trying to entertain themselves and to play soccer. Olunga, how is everything going on, and how is life in Japan at this particular time, where we're saying we don't have active football, but I know for all the players, you guys, you have to be fit.
Thanks for having me, and I'd just like to say that here in Japan, we had already started our league, played one game, and then we had to stop February 25th. That's when our league was suspended, and it has been quite a difficult moment, not only for us but all over the world. And we decided to stop the league because the numbers were increasing day by day, and then it was a safety measure also for the government. So we've not been able to resume back to pitch training. We've been training from home. The team has been giving us exercises to complete throughout the week, and then we've also had training via Zoom. So each and every player will log in to Zoom every morning, and then we have a team workout.
How are you coping up with that? I know this is a different thing. Players were not used to training via Zoom. You guys were used to be on the pitch, active, and just pumping that adrenaline and trying to push yourselves to the limit. How do you cope with all this difference at this particular time?
You have to adjust, because there's nothing now you can do. Japan now, most of the counties, we are under the state of emergency. And we cannot have activities, where it involves 5 or more players. So at the end of the day, we have to, try and figure out what's the best that you can do while you're working from home. And I can say, football, there's a lot of aspects of the game in football, strength, there's the conditioning part of it. So I think more so for me as a player, right now I'm trying to focus on the strength aspect of the game, because it's the little room, that you can get, and you want to maximize, the output. So at least in the home you can have equipment, where you can try and train, because condition-wise it's not the best one, because you don't have too much space. Then you cannot say that you are gaining so much in terms of condition. But in terms of strength, you have to see what's the best way possible so that you can gain from this situation.
Allow me, I don't know if I should imagine. I know at this particular time, life is difficult for all the players. But let's talk about your life in Japan. How has your life been in Japan? Is it an easy life? Maybe at this particular moment, it can be termed as a difficult moment for every other player. But how did you begin? How did you adjust and become that player that the fans usually sing your name and they say that Kenyan guy who does them proud every time? But how has it been for you ever since you moved to Japan?
I came to Japan August 2018. It was a difficult moment for the team. The team was struggling. They signed me as a striker to come and see if I could deliver some goals so that the team could, stay in the J League. But it was not the best, maybe first season, because I played 10 games, scored 3 goals, and we were relegated back to the J2. So, of course, every player wants to play in the top league, and it was a difficult moment, questions were being asked whether Olunga will stay or leave. At the end of the day, it's a challenge, and the situation had me there. So I had to, remain here in Racehall. 2019, started with the team right from the beginning. And, at the end of the season, went ahead and scored, 27 goals in 30 games. It was a good season, and the fans, they kept on, encouraging me, when they sing the Hakuna Matata song, it's amazing, because the culture, the Swahili culture, and it keeps me going. And then I got my confidence, now the team believed in me, the sports director, the fans, and everybody loved me. And mind you, I'm the only English-speaking player in the team, so it can be also quite difficult, because in terms of communication. But at the end of the day, I believe that when you are doing a job right, you are sacrificing a lot, and you're putting in the effort. I believe everybody is out there to see the outcome.
I know you've been an international player for quite a number of years, and you have been on the move, I should say, because Sweden, China, Spain, Japan, Will you say that Japan is the best place that you have played your football, or how will you rate your journey? Because others will call you a journeyman, but at least now you're enjoying your time in Japan.
For me, I'm a player who I don't shy away from competition. You know, like you said, I've played in different kinds of league. You know, from the Kenyan Premier League. You know, transitioning into the Swedish top flight. Then I went to China, Spain, and then now I'm here in Japan. You know, each and every league, you know, it poses a different kind of a play, if I may say, because the way the football is being played in Kenya is not the same way the football is being played in Japan. Then for me, I might say, yeah, last year was a good season, you know, for me. I did a great season, but I might say the epic of, you know, football was in Spain, where you could see the level and the quality of the game was more mature, and also the players' ability in terms of you know, the technical ability of the players, the tempo of the game, it was quite different. And also, you know, coming into play with top teams like Barcelona, Real Madrid, it was something which was amazing to me. And, you know, the highlight of my season in Spain was when I scored a hat-trick, and it was something which it will forever, you know, remain as a history to me.
I remember about that hat-trick, but Olunga, let me ask you, and be honest with me with this one, because a lot of people are saying that we would like to see Olunga compete in the Spanish league, maybe in the English Premier League, maybe in Bundesliga. At the level of league that you're playing competitively, do you see yourself ever moving to play maybe back in Europe, maybe in English Premier League, maybe in the Spanish La Liga again, maybe in the Bundesliga, or maybe in the Serie A? Where do you rate the league that you are in now in comparison with the other leagues, and might we be able to see you moving maybe at some point?
For me, as a player, I normally believe in hard work, you know, and there's no shortcut in football. At the end of the day, like you said, if you want to become a top player, you have to compete at the you know, the top and compete with the best players. And impossible is nothing in football. You know, when I was in China, I left China and I went to Spain. It was a move which maybe many probably didn't see it coming. But at the end of the day, you know, when you're out there, you're working hard each and every day, then opportunities, they come. And the most important thing as a player, you know, is to try and work hard wherever you are. At the end of the day, if the move is to materialize, then it will be, you know, because we just saw the likes of Odion Igalo, you know, moving from China and going to Manchester United, and now maybe there are rumors that he might sign permanently. At the end of the day, I believe as a player, you have to accept the challenge where you are as a player, then take it upon yourself, you know, to work hard, so that if you do well in that particular league, then for sure you'll get a lot of offers. And then at the end of the day, when they come, you also have to gauge as a player, you know, because you also don't want a situation where as a player, you go out there and sit on the bench, maybe probably, and don't play, then your value goes down, and then it's very difficult to recover. So you have to, you know, look and consider into many factors, you know, before you make a decision.
Let's talk about the national team. I don't know, as a player, I know it is a dream for quite a number of players to play in the World Cup. At least I was with you in Egypt during the AFCON, and we saw what Kenya was able to produce at this particular time. But where do you see you can reach with this Harambee Stars outfit that we have at the moment?
You know, first of all, you know, it's always an honor, you know, to represent the national team Harambee Stars. You know, whenever you get that call up, you feel like, yeah, there's something, you know, you're doing out here, and maybe you're being appreciated, and you want to give your level best, you know, for the national team. So just to say, you know, it was you know, like a dream, first of all, to play in the Africa Cup of Nations, because we've never been there in that stage for quite a long time, 15 years. And we managed to do it in 2019, which was last year. Of course, it was a 50-50 performance, but at the end of the day, it was an experience, which is worth going forward, you know, into other competitions. And now we have, you know, the 2021 AFCON, you know, and the World Cup, you know, coming up. We are trying, you know, as a team, individually and also collectively as a team, trying to work hard so that we can produce results. Of course, it's not so easy. The competition is always there. Everyone wants to go out there and represent Kenya. But at the end of the day, for me as a player, and I believe collectively as a team, if you work hard together, hand in hand with each and every player supporting each other, I believe we can achieve something.
I know there is a lot of talks about the Kenyan national side not being able to play in the Qatar World Cup qualifiers. And as a player, I know you cannot do much in regards to what is happening, and that is the Football Kenya Federation fiasco together with Adel Amruche, but it affects players directly. It is a reality that maybe you won't be able to play in the Qatar World Cup because Adel has not been paid. How do you receive that, and maybe how does that affect you as a player who wishes to represent the country in the World Cup?
In terms of the FKF role, with the former Mr. coach Adel, it's something, of course, many players, we are seeing it on the social media. I'm sure not most or majority of the players who are now in this current Harambee Stars were never coached by the former coach. So I believe it's something which maybe many of us do not relate with it. And then also, it's something which, can affect us. Like you said, if FIFA hands Kenya a ban, it's something which will not only affect the FKF officials, but also us as players and also future upcoming players, because football is our lives, and this is what most of us depend on it. So at the end of the day, if maybe FKF can find a solution, to try and, calm things, with the former coach, because at the end of the day, football is supposed to bring us together rather than, divide us.
Now, talking about football fans, what should they expect from you maybe? We know right now there is not much that is happening, but as a player, where do you see yourself getting to?
This season, first of all, we had started the league quite well. I scored the first game, we won 4-2. I scored two goals and an assist. It was a season which I was looking forward to, because I knew this year I had to try and produce more than even last year, because a lot of expectation were there, from the fans, from everyone. And at the end of the day, I'm an optimistic player who always, loves, to outperform my previous, record, So at the end of the day, I just want to give it a good shot this year if we will be able to resume, because at the moment here, things are quite stalled, and we don't know for sure when we are going to resume. But we are praying that things, get better as days goes by. And then at the end of the day, I want to give it a good shot, try to, produce the goals. And then I'm sure something will come up popping.
And a lot of people usually talk about Messi and Ronaldo. I don't know, your team Messi or team Ronaldo, and which team do you support in the English Premier League?
For me, I've been a Real Madrid fan ever since I was young, so I'll go for Cristiano Ronaldo. And each Premier League, I support Chelsea.
Chelsea. I never saw that coming. I thought you'd say Manchester United. Finally, I know a lot of teams are saying that maybe they are preparing themselves to get back to playing the leagues. And there has been a general talk about how ready are our players, how safe are our players. What is your general assessment as we conclude in regarding to how safe is it for different leagues to start at this particular time, and how well prepared psychologically are the players to go back and play football?
For sure, it's going to be quite a challenge, because it's going to be a situation where we are going to do like another pre-season, because at the end of the day, we have stayed like 1.5 or 2 months out. So you cannot tell me that majority of the players, they have their fitness level. So it's going to be another kind of pre-season, because if you talk about J-League, the way the speculations were, because they were saying that in case that the J-League resumes, then maybe the teams will play without fans, or if they are going to be fans, then it's going to be the home team, having fans, and it's going to be 50% in attendance. And then the necessary tests have to be conducted, and the situation has to be contained. So it's something which, of course, it's kind of abnormal in quotes, but at the end of the day, it's something that we have to accept. That's the way the situation it is. And everyone wants to go out there and play because everyone misses football. So at the end of the day, we have to comply with the rules because also we have to take care of ourselves because a lot of people, they have families and there are people who will look upon them. So at the end of the day, we just want to make sure that everyone is safe, so safety first, and then if the opportunity comes where we have to go back to the pitch and play, then we'll sure be ready to go back and play.
And finally, the last question, a lot of Kenyan fans, football fans, a lot of lovers of football in the world, and also your fans, they're disturbed. Everything is not as okay as it is supposed to be. What is your message to these fans and also to some of the players that they play here in the local league and some of the players that you've been playing with in the national team?
I'd just like to urge all my fans, my fellow players in the national team and also the players playing in the Kenyan Premier League that we should all be united during these tough moments because it's a situation which has affected everyone. And for me personally, I can say like in Japan, we are among the first league, to put off our league. And then it's something which has quite affected, most of us because this is what maybe we depend on. So I just like to urge them, to continue supporting, their federations, wherever they are playing, and then also try to adhere, to the government measures that are putting in place so that we can be able to curb the spread of the virus. So at the end of the day, when things are ready, people are ready to resume, everything is just going to fall into place. But at the end of the day, health is, wealth. We have to take care of ourselves, our lives, so that we might not lose our fellow colleagues.
Thank you very much, Michael Olunga there, just telling us what is happening live from Japan. And if you ask me who's the best talisman or a striker that we have here in the country at this particular time, I will not hesitate. I will say Michael Olunga. He has done his dues for the country. He's still doing what he loves doing, and that is playing football. At the moment, yes, he's amongst the many players that have been affected by this coronavirus pandemic. But as you can hear, he said that he's trying as much as possible to keep fit. And in his mind, he's optimistic that things will get back to normalcy. And the issue to do with Adela Mruchi and the federation, it is going to affect these players. So it is an issue that needs to be sorted out. And when it is sorted out, maybe the smiles will go back to the people that ought to be smiling at this particular time. And yes, they will say the game will be played as it is supposed to be played without any sanctions.